"What, Jacobson?" they said. "You can't hide a square face of trade gin or sulfuric acid that he won't smell out. You've certainly lived up to your reputation. I ain't had a drink for a fortnight, what of your snooping my supply." "If the fever was as rotten in you as me, you'd understand," the mate whimpered. "I ain't kicking," Griffiths answered. "I only wished God'd send me a drink or a breeze of wind or something. I'm ripe for my next chill tomorrow." The mate proffered him the quinine. Rolling a 50-grain dose, he popped the wad into his mouth and swallowed it dry. God, he moaned. "I dream of a land somewheres where there ain't no quinine. Damned stuff of hell. I've scoffed tons of it in my time." Again he quested seaward for signs of wind. The usual trade wind clouds were absent, and the sun, still low in its climb to meridian, turned all the sky to heated brass. One seemed to see as well as feel this heat, and Griffith sought vain relief by gazing shoreward. The white beach was a searing ache to his eyeballs. The palm trees, absolutely still, outlined flatly against the unrefreshing green of the packed jungle, seemed so much cardboard scenery. The little black boys, playing naked in the dazzle of sand and sun, were an affront and a hurt to the sunsick man. He felt a sort of relief when one, running, tripped and fell on all fours in the tepid seawater. An exclamation from the blacks forward sent both men glancing seaward. Around the near point of land, a quarter of a mile away and skirting the reef, a long black canoe paddled into sight. "Gooma boys from the next bight," was the mate's verdict. One of the blacks came aft, treading the hot deck with the unconcern of one whose bare feet felt no heat. This, too, was a hurt to Griffiths, and he closed his eyes. But the next moment they were open wide. "White fella, master, stop along Gooma boy," the black said. Both men were on their feet and gazing at the canoe. Aft could be seen the unmistakable sombrero of a white man. Quick alarm showed itself on the face of the mate. "It's Grief," he said. Griffiths satisfied himself by a long look, then ripped out a wrathful oath. "What's he doing up here?" he demanded, of the mate, of the aching sea and sky, of the merciless blaze of sun, and of the whole superheated and implacable universe with which his fate was entangled. The mate began to chuckle. "I told you couldn't get away with it," he said. But Griffiths was not listening. "With all his money, coming around like a rent collector," he chanted his outrage, almost in an ecstasy of anger. "He's loaded with money, he's stuffed with money, he's busting with money. I know for a fact he sold his Iringa plantations for 300,000 pounds. Bell told me so himself, last time we were drunk at Katuvu. Worth millions and millions, and shylocking me for what he wouldn't light his pipe with." He whirled on the mate. "Of course you told me so. Go on and say it, and keep on saying it. Now just what was it you did tell me so?" "I told you didn't know him, if you thought you could clear the Solomons without paying him. That man Grief is a devil, but he's straight, I know. I told you he'd throw 1,000 quid away for the fun of it, and for 6 pence fight like a shark for a rusty tin. I tell you I know. Didn't he give his balakula to the Queensland Mission when they lost their evening star on San Cristobal? And the balakula worth 3,000 pounds if she was worth a penny? And didn't he beat up Struthers till he lay abed a fortnight, all because of a difference of £2.10 in the account, and because Struthers got fresh and tried to make the gouge go through?" "God strike me blind," Griffiths cried in impotency of rage. The mate went on with his exposition. "I tell you, only a straight man can buck a straight man like him, and the man's never hit the Solomons that could do it. Men like you and me can't buck him. We're too rotten all the way through. You've got plenty more than 1,200 quid below. Pay him and get it over with." But Griffiths gritted his teeth and drew his thin lips tightly across them. "I'll buck him," he muttered, more to himself and the brazen ball of sun than to the mate. He turned and half started to go below, then turned back again. "Look here, Jacobson, he won't be here for a quarter of an hour. Are you with me? Will you stand by me?" "Of course I'll stand by you. I've drunk all your whiskey, haven't I? What are you going to do?" "I'm not going to kill him if I can help it. but I'm not going to pay. Take that flat." Jacobson shrugged his shoulders in calm acquiescence to fate, and Griffith stepped to the companionway and went below. 2. Jacobson watched the canoe across the low reef as it came abreast and passed on to the entrance of the passage. Griffiths, with ink marks on right thumb and forefinger, returned on deck. 15 minutes later the canoe came alongside. The man with the sombrero stood up. "Hello, Griffiths," he said. "Hello, Jacobson." With his hand on the rail, he turned to his dusky crew. "You, fella boy, stop along canoe altogether." As he swung over the rail and stepped on deck, a hint of cat-like litheness showed in the apparently heavy body. Like the other two, he was scantily clad. The cheap undershirt and white loincloth did not serve to hide the well-put-up body. Heavy-muscled he was, but he was not lumped and hummocked by muscles. They were softly rounded, and, when they did move, slid softly and silkily under the smooth, tanned skin. Ardent suns had likewise tanned his face, till it was swarthy as a Spaniard's. The yellow mustache appeared incongruous in the midst of such swarthiness, while the clear blue of the eyes produced a feeling of shock on the beholder. It was difficult to realize that the skin of this man had once been fair. "Where did you blow in from?" Griffiths asked as they shook hands. "I thought you were over in the Santa Cruz." "I was," the newcomer answered, "but we made a quick passage. The Wonder's just around in the bight at Guma, waiting for wind. Some of the bushmen reported a catch here, and I just dropped around to see." "Well, how goes it?" "Nothing much. Copra shed's mostly empty, and not half a dozen tons of ivory nuts. The women all got rotten with fever and quit, and the men can't chase them back into the swamps. They're a sick crowd. I'd ask you to have a drink, but the mate finished off my last bottle. I wish to God for a breeze of wind." Grief, glancing with keen carelessness from one to the other, laughed. "I'm glad the calm held," he said. "It enabled me to get around to see you. My supercargo dug up that little note of yours, and I brought it along." The mate edged politely away, leaving his skipper to face his trouble. "I'm sorry, Grief, damned sorry," Griffith said, "but I ain't got it. You'll have to give me a little more time." Grief leaned up against the companionway, surprise and pain depicted on his face. "It does beat hell," he communed, "how men learn to lie in the Solomons. The truth's not in them. Now take Captain Jensen. I'd sworn by his truthfulness. Why, he told me only 5 days ago. Do you want to know what he told me?" Griffiths licked his lips. "Go on." "Why, he told me that you'd sold out everything, cleaned up, and was pulling out for the New Hebrides." "He's a damned liar," Griffiths cried hotly. Grief nodded. "I should say so. He even had the nerve to tell me that he'd bought 2 of your stations from you, Maury and Kahula. Said he paid you 1,700 gold sovereigns, lock, stock, and barrel, goodwill, trade goods, credit, and copra." Griffith's eyes narrowed and glinted. The action was involuntary, and Grief noted it with a lazy sweep of his eyes. "And Parsons, your trader at Hikimavi, told me that the Fulcrum Company had bought that station from you. Now, what did he want to lie for?" Griffiths, overwrought by sun and sickness, exploded. All his bitterness of spirit rose up in his face and twisted his mouth into a snarl. "Look here, Grief, what's the good of playing with me that way? You know, and I know you know. Let it go at that. I have sold out, and I am getting away. And what are you going to do about it?" Grief shrugged his shoulders, and no hint of resolve shadowed itself in his own face. His expression was as of one in a quandary. "There's no law here," Griffiths pressed home his advantage. "Tulagi is 150 miles away. I've got my clearance papers, and I'm on my own boat. There's nothing to stop me from sailing. You've got no right to stop me just because I owe you a little money. And by God, you can't stop me. Put that in your pipe." The look of pained surprise on Grief's face deepened. "You mean you're going to cheat me out of that 1,200, Griffiths?" "That's just about the size of it, old man. And calling hard names won't help any. There's the wind coming. You'd better get overside before I pull out, or I'll tow your canoe under." "Really, Griffiths, you sound almost right. I can't stop you." Grief fumbled in the pouch that hung on his revolver belt and pulled out a crumpled, official-looking paper. "But maybe this will stop you, and it's something for your pipe. Smoke up." "What is it?" "An admiralty warrant, running to the New Hebrides."